Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back into DaBearsDen NFL podcast with the Chicago Bears First Focus. I'm your host, Alex, here today to discuss and recap the conference championship games, give my thoughts and feelings on those games. So we'll get right into it and won't waste any time. I will start with the Bills-Chiefs game. The closer of the two games, obviously, a really solid game all the way around, and was an enjoyable watch, right? It really came down to the final minute or so, and the elephant in the room, the thing that I want to discuss first is the officiating, because the officiating again does kind of have an impact on the game. Now, I don't know if Buffalo necessarily wins the game, regardless, but there were two really big plays to me that were misofficiated. And the first one being the kind of jump ball contested catch that they ruled for Xavier Worthy, which at first looked like it was picked, but I understand that you can't rule that as a pick because they have to, complete the process of the catch, right? And so they have to go to the ground. So I understand that aspect of it, but the ball hit the ground. So that wasn't a catch, regardless, right? It wasn't a catch, wasn't a pick. The ball hit the ground. They call it a catch for Kansas City. Kansas City gets points off of that because the ball was then at like the 12 or the 7 or whatever, right? The other big one, obviously the massive one, was the 4th down and 1 play call, where Josh Allen had the ball and clearly made the line to gain. I mean, it was completely obvious. I think Chiefs fans would even agree that he made that line to gain. But so that kind of ruins the fun and the aspect of the game in that sense, because it was clear that he converted, right? But I think when you're on the road and you're in a game that big, you can't leave the game up to the officials, right? I thought that it was really kind of eye-opening watching Joe Brady play call yesterday. I felt like the entire game, his play calling, he was very tight. He was very concerned. He called a bit of a scared game. And we've seen Josh Allen be fantastic in these moments before in these playoff games. And he made a couple fantastic throws, a couple huge plays yesterday. But I felt like every time that Buffalo needed a yard or two to convert or to score, it seemed like they kept going with this tush push variance off the left guard, which the Chiefs players came out and said that they were aware that Josh likes to go to the left. So it felt like Joe Brady was calling a very kind of tight game, not really trusting his offense, not really trusting Josh. And I think that, when you keep calling the same play in the same situation, the defense is going to figure that out. And, despite the fact that I think he converted on that, that big 4th down, you can't on the road in the championship game leave that up to the officials. You have to go get it yourself. You have to go call an actual play and convert that. So, I think the officiating did have a big kind of effect on the game, but like I said, I don't know if that necessarily determined the outcome. The Bills left points on the board. They missed a field goal or an extra point or something. They went for 2, I think twice, and they didn't get it both times. So they left points on the board, right? No, what it was the Bills went for 1, and then they got it. Then there was a penalty, and then they went for 2, and they didn't get it. So points were left on the board, and Kansas City earned the win, right? Kansas City made the late stop. Kincaid should have caught that ball. I mean, that was just a ridiculous throw and a play by Josh Allen. Instant pressure, great blitz drawn up by Steve Spagnuolo, and he's able to roll out and throw it up and give his guys a chance. And Kincaid should have caught that ball. It hit him in his hands. He was untouched. And, that's the difference, right? The Chiefs had guys that made the plays yesterday. The Bills did. So the Chiefs move on to the Super Bowl once again, 3rd straight, and they have a chance at 3-peating. And, it's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be interesting for sure. I feel like this is the Chiefs team that people have believed in the least, and yet they are back in the Super Bowl. So pretty wild from that. I thought Mahomes played really well, and despite the fumble that he had, and they look scary for sure. And then obviously they're playing Philly. Philly had a dominant win yesterday against Washington, 55-23. Seven rushing touchdowns, which is it's tied for the most in NFC Championship game history. The Bears also had seven rushing touchdowns in 1940. Funny enough, against Washington as well. And uh, Philly just looked really good. Jalen Hurts really kind of answered that question that myself and others were asking. Can he make the big passes? Can they put up enough points if they need to? And they answered that question. Most points ever scored in an NFC Championship game. The biggest blowout that we've seen in a conference championship game in years. And on the other side of it, Jaden Daniels, it sucks, right? I feel like his team really let him down yesterday. I think they had four fumbles, and it's really hard to go on to the Super Bowl when you're on the road in your division rivals place, playing them for the third time this year, and your team keeps putting the ball on the ground. Um, just really kind of uh, uh, silly ways to fumble and silly ways to lose. And Washington should have their head up. They exceeded this season. They did a lot more than everyone thought they were going to do. And, it just felt like yesterday, the moment was too big for a lot of these players, right? Which is fine because they're a young team. They were rebuilding. They won 4 games last year, right? New coaching staff, new quarterback, a lot of young players on the roster. This was their first time in that game, right? So it made sense that the game was too big for them. Um, but I think it'll be a good learning moment for Washington. I think that with the draft coming up, free agency, the offseason, all of that, they can definitely add to the team, and they will be a scary team again next year. Um, but if you're a Washington fan, you have to be happy with this season. You didn't expect to be in the NFC Championship game. You didn't expect to be playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So Jaden put up one of the arguably the best rookie season out of any position ever, but probably the best rookie season for a quarterback ever, and um, that's something to be proud of for sure. And I just think Philly has been in this contention spot for a few years now. I mean, really since 2018, right? They've had a couple down years since then, but um, or 2017 when they won the Super Bowl against New Orleans or New England, cheese. But um, they've been in this contention spot for years now. They were ready to go back, and their team was just a little bit stronger than Washington right now. So I think the Super Bowl is going to be solid. I think that Philly has a better chance to win this one than they did 2 years ago. I think that obviously they have the number one defense. I think the way that they are built and designed is the type of team that is built to beat um, Kansas City. I thought that Buffalo this week was built to beat Kansas City, but they kind of got away from their game on offense. I think that because in the playoffs, Buffalo was really leaning on James Cook, and they were running, and Josh Allen was making big plays when he needed, and they were keeping opposing quarterbacks off the field. Philly is built to keep Mahomes off the field with Saquon Barkley and Hurts in their running game, and obviously they have all the weapons at receiving, and I think that they are built to win this game. I think that they probably will win this game. That's not necessarily my pick yet. I did pick Philly to make the Super Bowl, and I had Buffalo in there as well. So, um, we'll see who I pick. I haven't confirmed my pick yet, but I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good Super Bowl, and you know, uh, I see online that people aren't happy that it's a rematch. I think it's cool that it's a rematch, right? Kansas City's favorited right now. I know that, and we'll just see. We'll have to see what happens. But it was a good week of games, conference championship games, and one game left this season. It sucks. Always kind of bittersweet at the end of the year, but we'll see what happens, right? So appreciate you guys as always listening. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, it really helps me grow out the channel. We've had some really fantastic growth over the last month, so I appreciate all of you guys, and I appreciate all of the new subscribers as well. And there's a lot of you that watch these videos that are not subscribed, so if you're seeing this, just hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. It just takes a second, and I'm doing NFL content, every single weekday. So I appreciate you guys as always. I will see you in the next video. Bear down. Have a good one. Peace.